Example number 8. Find the vertex, focus, and directrix of the parabola, then graph the parabola. Well, I'm looking here and I see that I've got the x squared again, so I know that this is a function parabola. Remember, those are vertical parabolas, either this or this. And I can see my vertex, so my vertex is at the opposite of this, the opposite of this. Oh, it's at -4, +3. So I'm going to go forward to the left, up 3, and I'm going to mark that as my vertex. And then I have to find my p-value so I can find the focus. So remember, the format is x minus h squared equals 4p y minus k. And so we have the x minus h squared over here, and we have the y minus 3 here. So all we need to do is take 8 and set it equal to 4p. So 4p is equal to 8 and p is equal to 2. So that means I'm going to go up 2 from the vertex, and that's going to be my focus. All right, now if my focus is 2 above the vertex, my directrix has to be this horizontal line 2 below the vertex, which is y equals 1. And so my focus is at +5. It's up 2. We just add 2 to that to get that. Okay, and this is how we find that. Now, I know that it's going to wrap around like the focus like that, but I have to be more precise for my math lab, and you need to find at least one point and use symmetry to get a better idea of the shape. I always suggest you try using x equals 0 to see what this, remember you're going to do your y-intercepts. We're going to look for the point where it crosses this. Well, we know it's going to be up here somewhere, right? So we're going to put in x is 0, and we're going to hope that it's not a fraction. So 0 plus 4 squared equals 8 times y minus 3. Well, that's going to be 4 squared, which is 16, is 8y minus 24. So if 16 is 8y minus 24, when I add 24, I get 40 equals 8y divided by 8. Y is 5. So it's going to cross this axis at y is 5. Now I'm going to use my symmetry. I'll erase this for just a minute so you can see that we're going to count over 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to count over 1, 2, 3, 4, and that gives me a second point on my parabola, because all parabolas are symmetrical. Remember we did, or you may have done in Math 112, the axis of symmetry here is x equals -4. So that parabola is going to look exactly the same on the right as it does on the left. And so that is the graph of this parabola, its vertex, its focus, and its directrix. Example number 9. Convert the equation to standard form by completing the square on x. Then find the vertex, focus, and directrix of the parabola. Then finally, we need to graph the parabola. So here's my equation, and the reason they tell me to complete the square on x is that x is our squared variable. So to complete the square on x, what I have to do is take half of this 6, and then square it. So that's 3 squared, which is 9. So I've got to add 9. And if I add 9 on the left, I have to add 9 on the right. And this is something that is often missed, so be really careful. So now I'm going to factor this trinomial as a square. That's called completing the square. That's what we did when we added that 9. And remember, we added it to both sides. And now in the format, it's x minus h squared equals 4p y minus k. So I need my y's and my numbers on the other side. I need just this square on this left-hand side. So I need to add the 8y to both sides. I need to add a 7 to both sides, and that will give me 8y plus 16. And then I'll bring down my x plus 3 squared. I'll factor out the 8. That'll be a y plus 2. And now I'm in the proper format. So that's the equation of my parabola. So remember, we find our p-value from this coefficient right here. So we have 4p equals 8. So p is positive 2. So we're going to take our vertex. So -3, -2 is there. We're going to go up 2 for our focus because it's a plus 2. So our focus is going to go up here. It's going to be up 2 from there. Okay. Our directrix is going to be down 2. So it's going to be down here. And it's a horizontal line. And my parabola is going to look something like this, right? It's going to wrap around that focus. Well, we're going to have to find another point to get that to graph. And so let's let x be 0 in our equation. Now, it'd be really easy to put x as 0 up here, but when I see that, remember this equation is equivalent. This equation is equivalent right here. However, I notice that when I do that I'm going to get a fraction. Let me show you. If I put x as a 0 in either one of those, back into the original, which would be a little bit easier. So I've got x squared plus 6x minus 8y minus 7 equals 0. And if I put a 0 here and a 0 here, I'm left with a fraction. Because look, these are zeros. That's going to be a fraction. So it's going to be down in here, -7/8. It's down in here somewhere. So I'm going to pick something different. I'm going to pick the y value of the focus. See, this y value, this focus is right here, and it's at the same as the vertex. It's at -3, but the y value is 0. So I'm going to let the y be 0 instead of the x be 0. That usually seems to work out pretty good. If not, we just have to keep picking points until we find one that's not a fraction. So if I let my y be 0, I get x squared plus 6x minus 8 times 0 minus 7 equals 0. That's x squared plus 6x minus 7 equals 0. Do a little bit of factoring. X plus 7, x minus 1 equals 0. X plus 7 is 0, so -7. X minus 1 is 0, so x is 1. So look, we've got two other points over here at 1 and down here at -7. So we know exactly what our parabola shape is. So our vertex is at -3, -2. Our focus is at -3, 0. Our directrix was the equation y equals -4 because our p was 2, so we had to go down 2 from the vertex to get our directrix, so it's at -4. So let's fill in these parts here. So our vertex is at -3, -2. So to the left 3, down 2. Our focus was at -3, 0, because we got p is 2, and we have to go up 2. Our directrix was at y equals -4, because if we go up 2 for the focus, we got to go down 2 for the directrix. Then we got points at x is -7, and positive 1. Those are both 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 from that focus. So we've got our symmetry there. And then we can kind of draw in our sketch to look like that. So our focus, I'm going to fill it in, -3, 0, and our directrix y equals -4.